particularly like how you can contribute as a technical writer. So for those of you who haven't come across Mautic before, you can access our website at mautic.org, and it depends where you are in the world how you pronounce it. I say Mautic, some people say Mautic. Choose your own way of pronouncing it. It's an abbreviation of marketing automatic, Mautic. And it's been around for about 10 years. It's written in PHP on the Symfony framework. And we basically enable organizations to do their marketing automation in a privacy-focused, data sovereign way. So they can own their own infrastructure, they can own their own data that can be all held within their own infrastructure. Normally, some of the competitors that are in the proprietary world might be things like Marketo or Salesforce Marketing Cloud, HubSpot's marketing tools. At a very basic level, things like Mailchimp do kind of email sending and basic automations. So there's some big competitors out there in the proprietary world, but Mautic is open source. It's been around for some time, and we're a growing project. So we're used by something like 50,000 organizations around the world that we know of that are either checking back to our update server or they use our tracking code on their website. So it's quite a big project. We're on GitHub, so you can have a look at our code and check it out and run it yourself. And we also have a 14-day trial, which you can just have a go and kick the tires and see what it does. So from the open source perspective, the whole product is open source. We're under GPL version 3. And so that means anyone anywhere in the world can download our software. They can use it for their own business. They could white label it and provide it to their customers as a, you know, like you provide them with the tools for them to do their marketing. The world's your oyster, really. And the whole product is maintained by a community. We have 5 teams in the community. We have community team, which looks after community management events, all of that kind of stuff. We have education team, which the 2 lovely people here today are going to be telling you about, which looks after our documentation. That's user docs, end user docs, developer docs, knowledge base. They also look after the forums and translations as well. We have a legal and marketing team, a legal and finance team, which is probably the least exciting team, but the one that is very important, that looks after all of the trademark and everything. We have a marketing team that actually helps to promote Mautic as a product. So there's also opportunities for technical writing in the marketing team as well, writing content for developers, for example. And then we have the product team who look after the actual product itself, so the core of Mautic itself. So there's lots of different ways that you can contribute. But the education team is a really important one because it does make a big impact. Having good documentation, as I'm sure you've all learned in the bootcamp, is so important for users, to make it easier to adopt, to make it easier to troubleshoot, to help understand what the product actually does and how they can use it. So we've got lots of ways that you can get started in contributing, from very simple tasks through to slightly more in-depth tasks. And I think I'll hand it over to Favor and Ayu at this point, because I'm pretty sure I've covered everything that we wanted to cover in terms of the actual project. Feel free to tell me if that's not the case. Oh, we have a hand raised and I can't hear you, Favor.
It's me. Sorry, I have a question.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So my question is, like, while you were talking about Mautic, you mentioned a free trial. So does this mean that Mautic is like a paid tool? How does that work, you know, with open source? Because the understanding about most open source tools and projects is that they are free. So what's that whole process like?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Thank you, Zainab. I hope I said your name right, Zainab.
Yeah, Zainab.
Zainab. Okay. So yes, we have a free 14-day trial. The reason for that is not everyone knows how to set up a server. Not everyone knows how to unzip stuff, run stuff, set up databases and things. Marketers are the people who just want to try stuff. You know, they don't want to go through a salesperson. They don't want to install stuff themselves. And so we put out an RFP, a request for proposals, for a company to actually run the infrastructure to let people try Mautic for free. Yeah, because we didn't have the infrastructure skills in the project at that time to actually run it. And if people want to, they can continue to be a customer of that company who provide that infrastructure. And if they use that company in a paid capacity, the community gets a revenue share of 40% of the takings for the first year. So we established it as a way to help people get to a hosted environment quicker, but also as a way of funding the open source project. So you can still install it all yourself, and the vast majority of people install it themselves and don't go through a paid channel, but we have it there if people prefer that.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. If there's no more questions, I shall hand over to Favor.
Hi, Favor. Are you there? I can see you're unmuted, trying to speak, but we can't hear you.
I think I didn't connect the Bluetooth. Is this fine?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Hi everyone. I'm Favor Chibweze. I'm currently the education team lead for Mautic, and we have Ayu here. Ayu is the assistant education team. Ayu, you can say hi. So, like how Ruth mentioned, we'll just be doing a bit of introduction of how to contribute to Mautic. And do we have anyone here that's ever contributed to an open source project as a technical writer? You can just raise your hand or drop it in the chat. Okay, I can see 2 hands. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I can see we have people that have contributed to open source projects. Yeah, very nice. So just a bit of a background story and success story about open source contribution. So for me, I am a front-end engineer. I do a bit of I'm a front-end engineer and also a community lead. But I have also been involved in open source contributions in the sense of contributing to events, which is I was part of the first co-organizers of the first open source festival in Africa. And aside contributing that to the program, yeah, we talk about contributing to open source, but I didn't really contribute to any open source projects. I just contributed to the event as a events manager and all that. So I needed to like go deeper and contribute to an open source project because of course we are preaching about contributing to open source and everything. And then I heard about Mautic and about the market automation. So having experience in community management, making use of marketing tools, I decided to like give it a try. So I started with contributing to Mautic technical documentation. Like I said, I'm a front-end engineer, and I didn't want to contribute to open source in the very technical aspects, in the code aspects. Like my 9 to 5, I code. So when I want to contribute to open source, I just needed a break. I didn't want to touch much code. So that's how I started my open source contribution. I needed something different, and which was technical writing. And I've been contributing to Mautic since 2023. I started my first contribution. I got into the Google Season of Docs program. And from there, I got elected for the first Mautic board council member. And now I'm currently leading the education team. So I'm just sharing my career growth and how open source has also helped me to like grow career-wise. I've gotten to like meet a lot of people, be able to contribute to a global organization, to a global product, a global project. Like Ruth mentioned, Mautic has over 50,000 users. So imagine what your the documentation you're writing, how it's helping a lot of other people that are interested in the product or interested in using the products. And we have Ayu here. I don't know if she wants to share her story. Ayu started as a contributor from our Hacktoberfest last year, and she has been a very good, huge part of the team. She has been contributing, and currently she's assisting as the education team for Mautic. And one interesting story, she came from WriteTech Hub during their Hacktoberfest contribution. So that's just a bit of background and success story, and how open source can also like help in your career growth, and if also give you more projects, hands-on projects to try on. So I don't know if, because we're supposed to do like a hands-on project, I don't know if anybody's on the system, they would want to like just try on something, like make your first contribution to Mautic. Are we all prepared for that, or I can just do a bit of rundown and maybe later you can do your contributions?
Favor, I want to confirm the question is to the participants, right? You want them to do like a like their first time contribution, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe we
Okay.
can just talk through that process, like how you would do it if you were like a new contributor, and people can follow along.
Yes. Then maybe in the community we can have like another session for people who are interested for the hands-on, aside from watching your video. Zainab has something to say.
I don't know. I'm thinking since this session is recorded, the demo might still be good. We can always share the link to the video after in the community for people to try it when they're finally on their system. So it will still be relevant even after this session.
Hi everyone.
Okay, all right.
I'm Gagandeep Kaur from India.
Hi.
I joined the call first time, so I'm eager to join this community and contribute for good technical writing projects. I have experience of more than 5 years in technical writing domain, and before that I worked as an assistant professor for 10 years. So I will be happy if I can go through the process and protocols to be a part of this community and contribute my work.
All right,
Thank
no
you.
problem. Thank you very much for sharing.
Yeah.
So I'll be sharing first the resources that we'll be needing for this. Just give me a minute.
And excuse me, ma'am, I have to switch off the video at this time because my children are creating messes in my background.
All right, no problem. That's
Okay.
So why Favor is trying to pull out the resources for the demo and also to share, I also want to say this again, just for some persons that are just joining us. This is the onboarding session on how to contribute to open source, particularly Mautic projects. We are using Mautic projects due to our partnership with them. With this demo today, you have like the experience needed to start contributing to any open source projects. But the good thing is, outside of this onboarding, we have a dedicated channel for all our community members and persons that are going to be joining us even later. You can always watch this video again. So that is if you are not able to follow the step by step as Favor and our team are going through it. This video is going to be available. It's being recorded, so it's going to be available for you to watch again and go through it step by step. We're also going to have the WriteTech Hub team and the Mautic team in the dedicated panel on Slack. If you are not there, I'm going to share the link again. If you are just joining, maybe you're not part of our community yet, I'm going to share the link to our community. And I'm also going to share the link to the channel so that you can join, so that when you go through this step by step, as Favor will show us now, you can ask questions, you can seek for help, and either of the two teams are going to like attend to you. I hope that is clear. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you very much, Omotola. So first, I'll be sharing the project, the Mautic project on GitHub. So which is github.com/Mautic. So there is the Mautic repository where we have the Mautic instance, which is the Mautic project itself. And so like I mentioned, you'll be contributing. Sorry, my background is noisy. There's construction work going on. So if at the point it gets very noisy, just let me know, and maybe we can just take over from there. So yeah, this is the Mautic project, and if you want to get started, like you want to see what the Mautic instance is all about, you can run the project on Gitpod or on CodeSpace. So for Gitpod, you can have download the Gitpod extension, but would advise to make use of CodeSpace now because of Gitpod currently have limitations due to the free version. So, but I'll be making use of Gitpod for now because I've loaded the Gitpod instance because it takes quite a time. So we have limited time in this call. So when you click the Gitpod icon, it runs. If you already have an account, it just runs the Mautic project. But if you don't, you can create an account on Gitpod using your GitHub. So here, so what happens is, it runs all the dependencies or the packages you need for your project. And after running that, it gives you the URL that you can use to view the Mautic instance. So for instance, this is where our project is being run. And yeah. So you can access the Mautic dashboard here. Nice. I'm trying to log in. So yeah, while this is running, I'll just go to our documentation. So like Ruth mentioned, we have 3 documentations for Mautic, which the education team is in charge of. We have the end user, the user documentation, which involves the end user documentation, anything that has to do with technical, how to make use of the product, how to install Mautic. Yeah, how to install Mautic. Let me try and get the deployed version. So yeah, docs.mautic.org. So here, this is the end user documentation. You have everything you need to get started with Mautic, how the troubleshooting, configuration, the segments, and most of the models we'll be looking at in the Mautic instance. And yeah, this is the documentation repo. So if you want to contribute, you go to the issues. We already have first good issues for contributors, especially for those that are going to be trying this out in this program. So yeah, we have first good issues that you can work with. And let's see. We are going to be trying one of the issues, which is updating authentication images. So you click on the issue, you indicate that you want to be assigned this issue, you comment, add a comment so that a maintainer can assign this issue to you. And when this issue is being assigned to you, or it will be written here. And anybody that wants to, like probably another user or another user or another contributor wants to make work on this project, if that contributor sees that this issue rather is already assigned to someone else, they move on to the next available issue. But when you don't like indicate that you'll be working on this issue and you just pick it up, you then have maybe like 2 other persons working on it at the same time. I don't know if you understand what I mean. So, and there might be just maybe one person might push the issue first, and then we like review that contribution and then merge the PR, and then you've already spent some time working on your own issue and you can't make that contribution. So that contribution is basically lost. So it's always good to like indicate interest when you pick up an issue, and the maintainer involved will assign that issue to you. So here you are, the issue says that the user interface for authentication has changed. Please update these images. So let's go to, this is authentication module, or yeah, this is the authentication page on Mautic. So I think this is the image that we need to update because it's been, the UI has changed. So we have, what you have to do is go to the Mautic instance, look for this image, take a screenshot, mark the necessary things that is needed here. Like you have here, we need to mark this identify provider metadata file. So let me see if my Mautic instance is ready. Yeah. Just to be sure nothing else is running. Okay. Okay. I think yeah, I tried to run a excuse me. What's it called? Give me a minute. Let me see if I can paste it here. So I tried to run this command so as to populate dummy data that we can use for this, because when you just run the Mautic instance without running that command, you don't get any dummy data that you can work with. So yeah, this is the Mautic instance. This is where you have your contacts of those you have. Let me use the common word we know. Our newsletter, you have those that signed up to your newsletter, right? The information of your subscribers, for example. So this is where you have their information, their contacts, their email, location, and this is also where you track the active user or your active subscriber. So we have, I don't think we have time to be doing major description of what each content or segment of the Mautic instance. Maybe we can have another section where we like take you through everything about the Mautic project itself. So here, this is also another page where we have the contact segments, where you segment your contacts. Give me a minute. So one of what we want to work on is working on the authentication.
It's under settings configuration.
Yeah. I clicked the settings. Okay, configuration. I thought I clicked
This
that.
is what
Let's
happens when they change the user interface, and then you're like, where's it gone?
exactly, because the last time I worked on it, it was not this user interface. Everything is so much different now. And this SSO setting
under user authentication settings. I think it's right at the bottom.
Yeah, authentication. Yeah, this is it. So here, this is what we need to change. You can see this UI is different from what we currently have here. So what you do is, let's see. Let me move my. I'll take a screenshot of this. Yeah, let's just do this. And then I will edit. If you can remember, okay, yeah, let's see. Yeah. So if you can see, we need to like highlight the identify provider metadata, which is what we are discussing here. So how you can upload a file using the identify provider metadata. So I don't know. I'm using Mac, so I think it's easier. But for if you're making use of Windows, you can just screenshot and go to your gallery and then edit, or you can make use of the software. I don't know. I think there are softwares you can do that to like just highlight a page or a text. So just to make it very neat. Yeah. This works. I just feel okay. No. I'm not wearing my glasses, so I'm trying to strain my eyes. But yeah, I think we're good to go with this. Yeah. So that's save, and what you can do, making your contributions now to Mautic, for which is we are using this, uploading this, and I will just make use of just this page, or do I have to like finish? Okay, we just have 3 images. I think I can work around this. So I need to highlight the new rows. Where Ruth, I think the data, I don't have much data. I'm saying just 2 rows.
Let's just do that first image because we just want to show how to create a PR with an image that's been changed.
Oh, okay. All right, let's just move forward.
Let's just do that first one, and then yeah, it will
Okay.
save time.
Yeah, true. So like I mentioned, now contributing to the project itself, the end user documentation. I think we'll just share the resources later after the call. So we also make use of Gitport and CodeSpace. Excuse me, we advise you make use of CodeSpace, but I already have my Gitport open. So yeah, for CodeSpace, it's just the same way run your code space for the Mautic instance, you click on create a code space for that project, and then it runs. And yeah, this is the end user documentation. Oh, I forgot to mention that you have to, like, for the user documentation, right? You need to fork the project. I think, okay, let me just go over that flow. So you need to, like, fork this project to have your own like, more like duplicating the project and having your own version, just for better understanding for those that have not gone through the whole GitHub experience. I think there was a class on that for those that did the bootcamp, the technical writing bootcamp. So maybe the community will share resources on that, contributing using GitHub. But just for this project contributing to Mautic, you just have to, like, fork your project, which is fork this repository. And then it takes you, so you select your name and your description and you create a fork project. I already have my, let's see. Okay. Anyways, I don't have that time to start running the project again since I already have this open, because it takes like 5 to 10 minutes for it to run, like, all the dependencies and install everything you need for the project. So for our documentation, we make use of RST, which is restructured text syntax for our documentation, and we have a bit of guide on how you can make a PR here, right? And how you can also documentation on how you can use RST, because I know a lot of us, what we know how to do is, most of us don't know the RST syntax, but that's what we make use of in Mautic, and it's pretty easy. Which is, we also added a resources on how to, like, get started on the sheets for that. So for adding of image, we want to add an image to the authentication module here. All our pages for the documentation are in the docs folder when you open your when you spin up your Git pod, the documentation. And then we go to the authentication module, just to make it easier for you, since you're not, like, used to the project, you can just, like, copy like a sentence, so it will be easier for you to, like, search through. But when you familiarize yourself with the projects, you can, like, be able to navigate. But here's the authentication module, and this is the page we want to work on. And I'm trying to load the preview. Yeah, so this is it. This is the authentication page, and we want to change this image. This is the image here. So all our images are being added to the images folder you have on the authentication folder. So each page, or let's say each module, has a folder inside the docs folder, and then you move your image, you add your image to the docs folder, you add your image to the images folder on the authentication, since we are using authentication, on the authentication folder. And here, so this is the syntax for adding an image with RST. You have I think code space also VS Code helps with completing the text, the syntax when it comes to most of the syntax we use for RST. So for the image, this is it, and I have to upload my image. Give me a minute. I'll stop presenting now. Give me a minute while I go to my folder to get the image that was saved.
Also, it might be
Just
helpful to say on the docs that at the top, you'll usually say like view source or edit this file, and that can help you find which file it's in because it will take you straight to a GitHub page. So in case people didn't know that.
yeah, thanks for that, Ruth. Okay. Just to be sure that everyone is following or understanding what I've said so far, so it doesn't be like I'm talking to myself. Hope we get up to the point where I am.
Can we see like emojis if you understand what's favor, if you got what favor has been explaining since, even if you get it like up to some stages, maybe not everything. Can we see emojis? Okay, and that's a good sign. Favor.
All right, thank you very much. So this is the image. I've added it to the images folder, right? And what I need to do is rename my file. You can just, since we already have an existing file that has the name, just delete the existing file and replace with the current name.
Maybe rename it to something nice.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, let's rename. Okay. So you can just like copy, since you're still like you've not familiarized yourself with RST, you can just look through the code base and like copy the syntax, especially when it comes to the images, right? You don't really have to know it off heart. So you can copy the syntax and then you select the image just to show you. Yeah. We can have this here. So this is the first, this is the previous image and this is the new image I added. So what you have to do is remove the old image and delete the file. And there we go. We've just made an open source contribution. So the next thing is to add a commit, make your commit, and then push to the repo. Updated.
You might want to make a branch first, so you're not just doing it on 5.2.
Yeah, exactly. And making a branch. I can't push this because this is not my forked repo. So I'm just like going to like give you like things you need to do. So you make a branch from the 5.2, which is okay, let's just go through the process. So you click, if you're making use of the Git port or code space, just the same UI because it's VS Code. You click on here where you see the 5.2. I hope you can see that on my from your end. Okay. Yeah, so you click on that and you create a new branch. Sorry, you create a new branch because you're ending 5.2 and you name it let's name it authentication UI updates. And yeah, you've created a branch from this. Sorry. Okay, yeah. And you stage your changes and you make your commits. And here you go, you push to the branch. When you do, then we are going back to the repo. So when you push to the branch, it creates when you push to the branch, it goes to your own repo of the Mautic version. Let me see if I can access my here so I can show you an example.
If you publish that branch to your repo, it will then show the button on the main repo where you can create the PR, I reckon.
Yeah. Okay. So like Ruth mentioned, when you publish the branch, it also shows on the Mautic repo, the end user repo where you can create the PR. Or if you're already on your own forked repo, you'll see where you can also create a pull request, right? It just shows here contributes. Give me a minute. Let's see. I think I have a couple of changes. I don't have an updated change to do.
If you change your branch to the one you just published, so in the top left where it says main, if you search for the one you just created.
Yeah, what I mentioned, right? I didn't spin up my forked repo. That was what I mentioned earlier. I spinned
Okay.
up the project itself, so I can publish the branch. So, let's see. It's going to take time for me to spin this and make a PR. So when you make the PR, when you make that PR, we get the updates. Let me just use this like a different example, creating a PR. Only pull requests. So this is just what it will look like. The interface when you click on creating a PR, you would see your branch, your name, your forked repo, your repository name, and then the branch you worked on, and also Mautic documentation. Exactly, just like this. And you add the title of the PR, and you can also link the issue you worked on the added description here, so as to know so as the reviewer can know the issue that was being worked on. And after that, you create your pull requests. And when you create your pull request, you can request a review. You see suggestions of reviewer, or you just drop a message on the Slack community, and then we can review your PR. I think that's just pretty much it on how to make your first open source contribution, and also how to contribute to Mautic user documentation. I don't know if there's anything I missed, Ruth.
I think it's probably, like, I know in this course you've gone through like making forks and making PRs and stuff like that, so that bit is probably fairly familiar, although I still make mistakes, so it's not always straightforward. But yeah, the bit that's a bit more challenging, I guess, is figuring out which page it's related to, or like how to do what's asked of you in the issue. Did you want to just share where people can find issues to work on, like our user docs backlog,
Yeah.
but also the no code repository project?
Okay. Give me a minute. Let me share my screen. So we have a different, okay, I think I already mentioned how to share for how to find an issue for the end user documentation. Let me just go again for those that probably missed that. So when you click on the end user repo, you go to the issues section, you'd see list of issues where you can like select one and indicate interests, and a maintainer will assign that issue to you. So you can just go ahead working on it. So like I always mention, like indicate interest, so the issue is being assigned to you before you start contributing. So you don't work on something and then another person comes and picks it and then it's been assigned to that person, just to avoid duplicating, or just you do something and you don't get the recognition you need for that contribution. So yeah, this is where you find the no code projects. So we have the no code or low code tasks or issues. Aside documentation, like Ruth mentioned, you can contribute as a content writer, also as a if you're a designer or you need to contribute to any content aside technical documentation. So we have different, you can see different tags or sub tags you can work. We have the coding, the end user doc. I think it will be easier for you to access all the issues here. Issues, you can see the issues that are ready to be assigned or picked, and then you can see the ones that has been done. You can see the ones in progress, and these are the ones that has not been assigned, especially the one that you see that has no status, because they've not been assigned to anyone. So you can see here the issues that people are working on, those that it has been assigned to, and those that are currently working on the issues. And you can see here the pull requests, the ones that have made a pull request, and then the ones that are yet to make a pull request. Then we also have the developer docs. Is pretty much the same thing. If you also want to like pick contributions from the developer docs, you just like have to like go through the issues and see if there's something you can pick. But you need to, I think, need to have more understanding of Mautic. So that's why we gave you the issues for the end user documentation, so you can familiarize yourself with the project. And they are also good first issues for any beginner that wants to start contributing to open source. And then we have issues for design, UX, marketing, content writing, community building, translations, and okay, the good first issues. These are where you see all the issues that are being tagged good first issues. So I think Ruth, I don't know if you've shared the link to this project.
Yeah, I shared the link, which is filtered to the end user docs, but you can explore the tabs. Like if people want to look for the good first issues, you can then see all the ones that are in user docs. Because some of the images, like you need to install a plugin or configure a plugin, they're not so good for first time. You know, you really want to find the ones that have got a good first issue label.
Yeah. So like this ones, especially the ones that has updates images and docs and all. Just I think for easy, like Ruth mentioned, for easy access, you just come to the good first issues tab to like pick an issue and we'll just assign it to you. So that's pretty much it from my end. I don't know if there are any questions so far. Or do you have anything to add, Ayu? Oh, okay. Omotola, over to you.
Okay, so I'll be wrapping up the call. Zainab here. I think
Okay.
yeah, is having some network issues. So thank you so much, Favor, Ruth, Ayu, for that really insightful session. So as Omotola has mentioned previously, everyone, please join the community on Slack. Ruth has also dropped the Slack.
Hi Ruth, am I missing something? It's like you asked Favor.
Yeah, I did ask a question, but Zainab is
I can't hear you. Okay. Hello, can
I
you?
think there's a bit of lagging from your end. Zainab was already stepping in.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Yeah, Zainab, you can continue, please.
Yes, so I was saying that Ruth also dropped the Slack community for Mautic in the chat also to join the education channel if you'd like to know more about Mautic or get technical support and all that while contributing to the project. Also join the open source channel on WriteTech Hub to get writing support. Some of the Mautic team would also be in that channel just in case. So thank you once again, everyone, for joining the session. I think that's about it. We'll wrap up. Does anybody have any questions that they would like to ask the Mautic team before we drop off the call? Okay, no questions. Okay, then I think that's about it. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Favor. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Ayu. And have a great day.
Thanks.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.